What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We have brand new information that has come out here, released by the Department of Justice, with more documents, 10,000 that were recovered. This has already happened, but we've just found this out about former President Donald Trump, about how many documents he had, government documents that he has taken from the White House. And a Republican legal analyst, a conservative, believes that there is going to be an indictment probably after the election, that they're going to charge Trump with charges. We'll get to that here as well. Also, we'll give an update here on multiple stimulus checks up to $2,000 for a lot of different people. If you've been watching my channel here, there are multiple different states and multiple different groups, millions of people that are getting stimulus checks here. And I'll keep you up to date here with everything on our YouTube channel here. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure to click the subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you get notifications when we go live, as it's completely free to do so. And you could show your support by just clicking the thumbs up button. Okay, first, let's jump in here. Okay, so we're getting new information here that a total of over 10,000 government documents without classified markings, so this is just the total amount here, were seized from Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. The Department of Justice has now released. Besides the documents that were marked top secret and classified, newly unsealed information shows that Trump had a mountain of other documents and photos. Yeah, you can see here, in addition to the troves of information marked secret and top secret, the FBI search of former President Donald Trump's home turned over 10,000 U.S. government documents and photographs without classified marking. A newly unsealed Justice Department inventory of these seized items showed here today. So this was just unsealed today. The Department of Justice court filing, filed under seal earlier this week but unsealed by a judge Friday, also shows investigators found over 40 empty folders with classified banners on them at Mar-a-Lago. It's unclear what happened to the information that had been inside the folders. So this also is cause for concern. You could see here that there was 40 empty folders with classified headlines on them that were empty. So you kind of think about this. What happened to the information that was in these 40 classified folders that are now gone? Where's the information? So if you kind of think through all this, yeah, this is what a lot of people are, if you're kind of thinking through all the details of this and what could have happened to all this information, yeah, a lot of people have a lot of cause for concern about where all this information may have gotten misplaced, how many people were handling all this information. Yeah. They also found almost 4 dozen empty folders returned to staff secretary military aides, according to detailed property inventory. The judge, Eileen Cannon, ordered the information in a more detailed property receipt to be unsealed during a hearing Thursday on Trump's request to have a special master review collected by the August 8th search. Trump's lawyers suggest the documents were Trump's personal records and complain the ongoing negotiations with the National Archives suddenly been transferred into a criminal investigation. Lawyers for the Justice Department said all the government documents that were retrieved belonged to the White House, not Trump, and that he and his lawyers flouted a subpoena demanding the return of the documents with classification markings for months, and They did not comply with the subpoena. Also, take a listen to this.
Meanwhile, conservative legal analyst and former judge Andrew Napolitano says he believes the Justice Department will present its findings to a grand jury right after the midterms and that it will result in an indictment, maybe more. Here's what he said yesterday on Newsmax.
I think that the DOJ has already decided to ask a grand jury in either Miami or Washington, D.C. to indict former President Trump. And what they've tipped their hands on, the little that they've revealed to the public and what they've shared with Judge Cannon is more than enough to indict him and probably enough to convict him.
Wow. Let's bring in former U.S. Attorney and senior FBI official Chuck Rosenberg. Chuck, do you agree with Napolitano's assessment there of the potential for an indictment?
The potential? Sure. His certainty? I don't know where that comes from just yet, Mika. Look, I wish I was as certain about things in life as he seems to be. You know, folks pick horses to win races all the time, and some of them turn out to be right, and they go to the window and collect their money, but they had absolutely no idea what they were doing when they laid down the bet. That could be the case here. I think it's a serious matter. The search warrant indicated that crimes had been committed and evidence of crimes were found at Mar-a-Lago. That we know. But who's responsible for it, who will be charged, that will be determined. You know, that stuff, Mika, was in the redacted portion of the affidavit that we're all anxious to read. So unless Judge Napolitano has some access that we don't, I really don't understand why he's saying what he's saying. It doesn't make sense to me yet.
Well, Chuck, tell me, from everything you've heard from Donald Trump, from Donald Trump's lawyers, what is his best defense against taking top secret documents and classified documents, secret documents from a government building and then lying to the FBI, lying to the Department of Justice about returning everything that he had down at Mar-a-Lago? What is there a defense that you can think of?
I can hypothesize the defense, Joe. I don't know if it's going to work for him or not, but here's what it would sound like. That he didn't pack the boxes, he didn't know what was in the boxes, he didn't move the boxes, and he didn't care to review it. Now, there's a problem for him here. As you well know, some of this stuff wasn't just found in the basement at Mar-a-Lago. Some of this stuff was found in his office, apparently in his desk drawer. And so that defense I just laid out, that hypothetical defense, becomes much more difficult when you find this stuff in his desk. But what I'm really getting at is intent. Right? Because crimes require intent. You mentioned the fact that there were misrepresentations made to the FBI about what remained at Mar-a-Lago. If the lawyers who made those misrepresentations, Joe, and you know this, you're a lawyer, if the lawyers who made those misrepresentations failed in their due diligence or passed on bad information that was given to them, but they didn't intend to lie, then they didn't commit a crime. They're just bad lawyers. And we don't put bad lawyers in jail unless they intended to commit a crime. If we just put bad lawyers in jail, we'd run out of space pretty quickly. So it turns on intent, right? What did the lawyers know when they made these misrepresentations to the government? What did Trump know when the documents ended up in his home? I think it becomes more difficult for Trump, and I agree that he's in serious jeopardy. And I imagine the Department of Justice is having very serious discussions about whether or not to charge him. But the certainty that Judge Napolitano expressed, I just don't see that at this point. I'm not as certain.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Do you think they're going to try and charge former President Donald Trump with charges here? Do you think it's going to come before or after the midterm elections? Do you think he should be charged? Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I've seen a lot of people say that if it was them, if it was a normal person, that they would already be in prison for taking documents like this. I've probably seen thousands of comments like that. But of course, it's not us. It's not a normal person. This is a former president. So, yeah, you can let me know your thoughts here. Next up, I just did a massive video here on multiple different states that are sending out stimulus checks. We have over 20 different states that are sending out stimulus checks here. Stimulus checks, tax rebate checks, property tax rebate checks, and we have a bunch of states trying to send out even more. Some as high as up to $2,000. Check this out. In the state of Pennsylvania, you can see here stimulus checks update. Governor Tom Wolf continues to push for $2,000 direct payments to Pennsylvanians. And this particular state is not an election scheme because he can't even be reelected. He's term limited. So he cannot be reelected as governor, which I think is really cool because the guy's really just doing this out of the goodness of his heart because he can't be reelected. He's already served as many terms as he possibly can, but he's still pushing for $2,000 stimulus checks to Pennsylvanians. And also here, he just announced a massive property tax relief check that are hitting bank accounts now. I'll get to that here in a second. You can see here, Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf continues to push for $2,000 stimulus checks for many residents of the state. He's a Democrat, the governor, though the Republican-led General Assembly continues to block Wolf's plan to use the state's budget towards relief, citing it would only worsen inflation. This is because the state House and Senate are controlled by Republicans. He's a Democrat. So you guys know the old song and dance that happens even in the federal state or the federal House and Senate as well. Republicans and Democrats don't want to help each other, don't want to get along, don't want to vote together. That's not the case in every state. We've seen a lot of states, over 20 states, maybe over 25 states, that have passed state stimulus checks, property tax rebates. You know, they did pass a property tax rebate here. I'll get to that here in a second. But Republicans don't seem eager to help out the Democratic governor, even though he's not up for reelection and he's term limited. So I'll finish the details here in a second. But the Republicans in Pennsylvania control the House and the Senate, and they have to pass it through the House and the Senate before the governor can sign it. So I've seen a lot of people saying, why doesn't the governor send out the $2,000 stimulus checks? Well, the House and the Senate of the state has to pass it first for every state, for every single state. So keep that in mind. And for any state, feel free to call, email, and tweet your state representatives or your governor and say, hey, what are you doing with this money? Okay, because remember that there's billions of dollars that every single state got from the last stimulus package last year, $350 billion from the last stimulus package. The American Rescue Plan went out. The Democrats passed that on their own. Not a single Republican voted yes on that. But nonetheless, all the states got money and sent out billions of dollars to each state. And then also every single state right now has a surplus of money because unemployment is at a 50-year low. It's at 3.5%. So more people have gone back to work. So states are bringing in more sales tax money and more income tax money right now. So every single state has a multi-billion-dollar surplus money, basically extra billions of dollars in the state coffers. I just did a big another stimulus video on multiple different states here as well, sending out state stimulus checks. I'll link you to that video here in a moment. You can watch that next. Wolf made the call to action this week while speaking in Allegheny County. He urged the Republicans to pass his PA Opportunity Program. The program will allow every Pennsylvanian who makes $80,000 and under to receive the $2,000 direct payment. If the program was passed, there's expected to be 250,000 applicants, resulting in $500 million. They have over $2 billion in stimulus money. So this would only be a quarter of the money that's sitting there. The governor says, quote, "We have these funds available. It's not fair to withhold them from taxpayers. They have to use it for something. What are they going to use it for? They don't need to use it for roads or bridges because the infrastructure package that was passed bipartisan is going to pay for stuff like that." The governor says this money will make a life-changing difference for families in communities across the Commonwealth, provide a much-needed buffer against prices that are artificially and temporarily high due to inflation. This is what all states and a lot of states are doing right now. Let's put this cash back in the pockets of Pennsylvanians to help cover the high costs of gas, groceries, and everything else. So, I mean, let me know your thoughts here. Now, they did recently pass a bonus property tax relief hitting bank accounts now. Today, Governor Tom Wolf reminds Pennsylvanians that one-time bonus rebates for the property tax rent rebate programs are being distributed now, saying, quote, "If you already received your PTRR check this year, don't be surprised when your bonus payment hits your bank account or your mailbox," said the governor. "I proposed these one-time bonus rebate checks back in February, and I'm so glad to see these checks rolling out now across the Commonwealth and at a time of painful inflation. This money will help older adults and Pennsylvanians with disabilities bridges the gap between a fixed income and higher prices." This is going to cost about $140 million from the stimulus money, the American Rescue Plan Act. And if I'm looking at the right page that was linked from this article, it's for people that make under $35,000 a year, and the maximum rebate here for homeowners can be up to $650. It's between $250 and $650 for homeowners, as you can see here on the screen. There's also a check for renters as well. Renters can receive $500 to $650 as well. Also, in addition, the law gives the following relief to seniors as well. Seniors who live in Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, or Scranton may receive additional relief as well. And we're seeing programs like this all across the country. I just did a major video featuring multiple other different states here that I'll link to you here right now. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember those times so you don't miss out on new videos. Click the bell icon down below after you click the subscribe button. It's completely free to do so. This way you don't miss out on new videos. I'll keep you up to date here on all the states going forward. As soon as new news comes out, I'll keep you up to date here. And if you know of any news in your state on new stimulus checks, property tax rebate, renter relief, anything like that, comment down below. Don't put any links though, because YouTube will send them to the spam folder. So I'll keep you up to date here, and anything on the federal level as well, student loan relief, raises for seniors and Social Security. There's a lot of different programs coming out here. I'll keep you up to date with all of it here on our YouTube channel. So you can click here to watch my newest video next. And here's my video I just did on multiple different states sending out relief to their residents here. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.